I've gone off the deep end. I've had no sleep. I'm so tired. Oh yes, I took it out of the braids, that's why it's so curled. Well, my hair's naturally curled also, but you know, it is what it is, but thank you, Minnie, thank you. Okay, guys, she's asleep. We are finishing this book today, and we are starting the next book, Come Hell or High Water. Right? Everyone agree? Does everyone agree that that's what we're doing today? We're finishing this book, and we are starting the next book, no matter what happens. We're all in agreement. Let's do this. Because I will not survive if we don't. I will not survive if we don't. You guys see that we're using Secret Husband's favorite cup today? For him, obviously. Ray, I was just talking about you to my mom this morning, which I know sounds funny, but we were talking about the little wooden toys because we were FaceTiming with her and this girl was showing her wooden toys and my mom was like, those are beautiful. I would have bought those if I had known about them. I was like, they were a gift. It was pretty funny. Takes a really long nap. Yeah, my mom thought they were the cutest toys ever. I have them until 11, so I have to get to them. Fair enough. But at least you get to finish this book with us, right? Because we only have half a chapter left. So you'll get to finish and start the next one a little bit. Because we're pretty much ready in a second here. For anyone who hasn't been on in a while, who has an espresso, I just wanted to let you guys know my new favorite one is this orange one, Inezio. It's so good. Or Inizio? I don't know, whatever. I don't really understand their names if I'm being honest, but it's so good. Get you some Nespresso, Inezio. I used to be a totally Vivita girl, and maybe I'll go back to it, I don't know. But like, I'm really into this one right now. And when I have a bigger cup, I put an extra shot in it. Yeesh, good stuff. You think it's a growth spurt? Yeah, probably. This morning, I managed to get her to eat an extra like ounce and a half from her bottle by doing like crazy antics, and I was like, maybe if she eats an extra ounce or ounce and a half, she'll sleep longer. I don't know if there's truth to that, but that was my wish. Hey Jen, so like we'll see how it goes. Hey, so we reconfigured. You guys want to see what we did? Let me see if I can turn this around. We reconfigured the living room back to being a living room because we have guests coming for the holidays. And we moved her playpen over here. And we put the advent calendar right there for all the kids to see when they come over. It's kind of cool, right? I don't know. It's kind of sweet. You sleep more when you eat more, yeah. We needed space for all of our guests, obviously, so we had to move the playpen out of the, like, direct living room or whatever. Oh, you guys can see my mermaid. We need to clean the kitchen counter, obviously, but we're over here now with other plants. I did a fortified bottle before bed last night, and I got an extra hour. Whoa. What do you mean when you say fortified bottle, by the by? What does that mean? Just asking for a friend. We're gonna finish this book today, no matter what it takes. We only have half a chapter. We can't not finish it. Babe was up from 11. Us too. Was there something in the air last night? Because we were up from 10:45 to 1:30, and then she slept for half an hour, and from 10:45 to 12:45, and then slept for half an hour, and then was up from 1:15 until almost 3. What was in the air last night, you guys? I don't know. But it's not... Oh, there's something on my glasses, as usual. The Northern Lights, electromagnetic. You know what? I believe it, because it was brutal. Brutal. Yeah. Okay, well, as beautiful as they are, they need to stop it. They're beautiful. The Northern Lights are stunning, and I'd like to take her to see them in person one day. They need to stop. We're done. Literally everything. I believe it, Amanda. They need to stop. We tried everything, Kai. I'm serious. Like... My men barely made it out of the kingdom alive. We found Sir Grant and his men in the dwarf forest, and Jack found us there. We've been hiding out in this cave ever since, Sir Lambton said. Interesting, Ray. That's very interesting. I wonder if it really is related. The twins were taking deep breaths so that they wouldn't become sick. And what about the other kingdoms? Connor asked. We assume the same has happened to them, but we haven't made contact, Jack said. And the fairies? Alex asked. No one's heard from them either, but it's possible that they were hit first, Goldilocks said. The first thing your uncle did when he arrived was free the prisoners from Pinocchio prison. All the soldiers from the Grand Armée and the criminals that aided them are once again under his command. Alex and Connor exchanged horrified looks. Their biggest nightmare had become a reality. We need to get to the fairy kingdom, and we need to find the council, Alex said. Connor and I will leave straight away. Everyone else stay in the cave until you hear from us. You can't leave, Lambton said. The masked man's armies everywhere, even in the skies. There's no way that you'll go undetected, even if you fly that bird. The twins glanced at Lester, and he gulped. We won't be traveling by land or by sky, Alex said. I'll transport us there magically. Are you sure about that? Connor asked. Last time I suggested that, you had hesitations. Well, we don't have a choice, Alex said. Come on, let's not waste any more time. The twins embraced, and Alex counted to 3. They disappeared from the cave with a bright flash, and Alex transported herself and her brother somewhere outside, but they weren't exactly sure where. The air was filled with smoke, and the ground was littered with debris. Connor, look, Alex said, and she pointed in the distance. It's the fairy palace. The fairy palace was almost unrecognizable. Its trademark glow had faded away, and most of it had been blown to smithereens. The gardens had been destroyed too, and they were covered in an ashy coat of dust. The statue that had been erected in their grandmother's memory lay in pieces on the ground. Alex and Connor both became teary-eyed at the sight. There was no sign of life anywhere, but they hoped that the fairies had fled in time to save themselves. But if the council had been inside the palace during the attack, that wasn't likely. The Hall of Dreams? Grandma's chambers? It's all gone, Alex cried. Well, let's see if we can find anything or anyone inside, Connor said. They walked across the dusty earth, and they climbed into the palace ruins. Everything was so damaged that they couldn't tell what was what anymore. The only room that they could identify was the Grand Hall, and that was just because of its size. As soon as Connor and Alex entered the hall, 7 figures came into view and the twins dived behind a fallen pillar. The air was hazy from the attack and they couldn't see who or what the figures were. Alex, I don't think they're moving, Connor said. You're right, they're not people, they're statues, Alex said. That's odd. There weren't statues in the Great Hall before. The twins walked deeper into the hall to have a closer look. The statues looked frightened, and they were awkwardly positioned as if they were trying to run from something. The twins stared at them, and the longer they did, the scared faces of the statues became more familiar. Oh my God, Connor said. Alex, these aren't statues. This is the council. They've been turned into stone. Emeralda, Xanthos, Skylene, Tangerina, Rosette, Violetta, and Coral were hard to identify now that they were all the same color of stone, but Connor was right. It was too much for Alex to bear. She ran inside the room, and she became sick. Who could have done this? What could have done this? She asked. I don't know, Connor said as he rubbed her back. Alex? Connor? A little voice said somewhere in the palace, and the twins saw something hovering nearby on the sill, on the other side of the hall. They were relieved to see that it was only Trix. She was covered in dust, and her wings were mangled, making it difficult for her to fly. Oh, Trix, I'm so happy to see you, Alex said. What happened here? Connor asked. The palace was attacked by a flame ship, she said. What turned the council into stone? Alex asked. A horrible monster, Trix said, and she trembled at the thought of it. But what kind of a monster? Connor asked. I didn't see it, Trix said. I was so scared I closed my eyes and hid. But Noodle and Merkle, they weren't so lucky. Trix gestured to the windowsill, and the twins saw her friends had also been turned to stone. Like the council, they looked terrified, and they were positioned like it happened while they were trying to escape. Trix, what happened to the monster? Connor asked. It left with the pirate ship, Trix sniffled. And what happened to all the fairies? The other fairies? Alex asked. Some hid in the forest, but I'm not sure what happened to the others, Trix said. Trix, I want you to hide in the forest too, Alex instructed. Get away from here and find some place until it's safe again. We're going to go figure something out. Trix nodded and flew off as fast as her wings could carry her. Connor, I think our uncle has recruited beyond the realms of literary dreams. Sorry, dreams were literary... I think our uncle has recruited creatures beyond the realms of literature, Alex said as she glanced around at the statues. This looks like something from mythology. I don't know how we're going to stop him. Alex took a seat on the windowsill while Connor paced around in front of her. They spent an hour in total silence as they tried to think of ways to save the fairy tale world. Connor suddenly stopped in his tracks and he looked toward one of the remaining towers of the palace. The South Tower survived the attack, he said to himself. His eyes suddenly lit up and Alex knew an idea was forming in his head. What are you thinking? Alex asked. I know how we can stop him, he said excitedly. How? By forming an army of our own, Connor said. Come on, you have to follow me. Before she could question him further, Connor raced through the wrecked palace and found the stairs leading to the South Tower. He sprinted up the steps and Alex chased after him. They entered a circular room at the top of the tower. It was covered in dust and cobwebs, and an empty archway stood in the middle of the room. Connor searched the walls with his hands, feeling around for something. How are we supposed to form an army? Alex asked. Exactly like our uncle did, he said. We travel into stories and we're going to recruit characters that can help us, and I know exactly which ones we're going to ask. Do you still have the portal potion with you? Alex retrieved the flask that she had tucked away in her waistband. Yeah, but great, Connor said. We're going to have to make a stop in the other world first because I need to find... Oh, I found it. He pulled the lever on the side of the wall, and a blue curtain magically appeared in the archway. Alex could see a world of light beyond it, the world she saw every time she traveled between the fairy tale world and the other world. Yes, Connor said, this portal still works. Let's go. I'm confused. Why do we have to travel into the other world? Alex asked. Because that's where the stories are, Connor said. Which stories are you talking about? Connor paused just as he was about to step through the curtain. Mine, he said. Dun, dun, dun. Woo! We're going into Connor's stories, you guys. And Connor's a doozy. This is the next book. It's called An Author's Odyssey, and we are entering the stories that Connor wrote for school. which I think is freaking adorable. But that certainly ended on a cliffhanger, didn't it? Just have a little sip of coffee real quick. Actually, you know what? I might close this live and start another one so that we have a clean cut for the recordings because it's a new book. So let me close this really fast. I'll be back in like 2 seconds because I'm not going to change anything on the writing. I'm just going to close and open it so that when I download the recordings, they're separate. You know what I mean? For anyone who doesn't want to start the next one right away. Okay, so if you're listening to this later, this is the end of book 4 and we're going on to book 5 momentarily.